Hello students, in today's class we are going to discuss about principles and objectives of impressions in complete dentures part 2. In part 1 we had discussed about principles. I enumerated various objectives and in that we learnt about preservation of residual alveolar ridge and about support. Today's class we will discuss about retention, stability and aesthetics. Retention. It is defined as quality inherent in the dental processes acting to resist the forces of dislodgement along the path of placement. Boucher has defined it as resistance to removal in a direction opposite to that of its insertion. Factors affecting retention. These include adhesion, cohesion, interfacial surface tension, capillary attraction, atmospheric pressure, orofacial musculature, mechanical locking undercuts. Adhesion. Physical attraction of unlike molecules for each other. Example, saliva sticks to denture base and to mucous membrane of basal seat. So it is between unlike molecules. Adhesion is achieved through ionic forces between charged salivary glycoproteins and surface epithelium or acrylic resin. The effectiveness of adhesion depends on close adaptation of denture base to the supporting tissues and the fluidity of the saliva. The most adhesive saliva is thin serous but containing some mucous components. Thick and ropey saliva is very adhesive but tends to build up so that it is too thick in palatal area and interferes with oral adaptation. The amount of retention provided by adhesion is directly proportional to the area covered by the denture. Patients with small jaws cannot expect retention by adhesion to be as great as can patients with large jaws. Cohesion. Cohesion is a physical attraction between like molecules for each other. It occurs in the layer of saliva between the denture base and the mucosa. In order to be effective, the salivary layer should be thin, that is, adaptation should be close. Interfacial surface tension. It is the resistance to separation of two parallel surfaces that is imparted by a film of liquid between them. It is dependent on the ability of the fluid to wet the rigid surrounding material. If surrounding material has high surface tension, then there will be less wetting and vice versa. All denture based materials have high surface tension than oral mucosa, but once coated with salivary pellicle, the surface tension is reduced, which promotes maximizing the surface area between liquid and base. It plays a major role in retention of maxillary denture. It is totally dependent on presence of air at the margin of liquid and solid contact. As there is excessive saliva along the lower border of mandibular denture, surface tension is lost in mandibular denture due to loss of liquid air interference, liquid air interface at denture border. If you can see in picture, because of pooling of saliva, because of pooling of saliva, retention is compromised here. This affects the interfacial surface tension here. Capillary attraction or capillarity. It is a force that causes the surface of a liquid to become elevated or depressed when it is in contact with a solid. When the adaptation of denture base to the mucosa is sufficiently close, the space filled within a thin film of saliva acts like capillary tube and helps to retain the denture. Atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure can act to resist dislodging forces applied to dentures. It has been called suction because of its resistance to removal of dentures from the basal seat. Any dislodging forces are resisted by an atmospheric pressure of 14.7 pounds per square inch. For atmospheric pressure to be effective, the denture must have a perfect seal around its entire borders. Atmospheric pressure is an emergency retentive force because if all other forces are overpowered, the atmospheric pressure may be able to keep the denture in position. Orofacial musculature. These are supplementary retentive forces. The teeth are positioned in neutral zone between the cheeks and tongue, and the polished surface of the denture are properly shaped. This will allow for proper resting of the muscles and thereby improving the retention of a denture. Buccal flanges of maxilla up and out. Buccal flanges in mandible down and out. They are sloped down and out. Lingual flange is sloped towards the center of mouth. For the oral and facial musculature to be most effective in providing retention for complete dentures, the following conditions must be met. The denture must be properly extended to cover the maximum area possible without interfering in the health and function of the structures that surround the denture. The occlusal plane must be at correct level. The arch form of the teeth must be in the neutral zone between the tongue and the cheeks. Mechanical locks. The mechanical locks of undercuts usually prove to be intolerable to the patient. The soft tissue is subject to damage during the insertion and removal of the denture. The resiliency of the mucosa and submucosa overlying basal bone allows for the existence of modest undercuts that can enhance retention. Exaggerated bony undercuts or less overt ones covered by thin epithelium may compromise denture retention by necessitating extensive internal adjustment of the denture. Bony undercuts are frequently found in both maxilla and mandible. In maxilla, it is found in anterior ridge lateral to the tuberosities. In mandible, under the area of mylohyoid ridge. Unilateral undercuts aid in retention while bilateral undercuts will interfere with denture insertion and required surgical correction. Coming to the fourth factor, that is stability. Stability is the ability of denture to withstand horizontal forces. Factors affecting stability include vertical height of the residual ridge, quality of soft tissue covering the ridge, proper orientation of occlusal plane, proper tooth arrangement, proper form and contour of the polished surface. Aesthetics. The thickness of the denture flanges is one of the important factors that govern aesthetics. Thicker denture flanges are preferred in long-term edentulous patients to give required labial fullness. Impression should perfectly reproduce the width and height of the entire sulcus for the proper fabrication of the flanges. This concludes the principles and objectives of impression making. An ideal impression must be in the mind of the dentist before it is in his hand. He must literally make the impression rather than take it. Thank you all.